Windows used to be the default choice for a lot of people, but that does not mean it is still the best choice. Over time, it has become heavier, more restrictive, and more annoying to use. If you are tired of bloat, forced updates, advertising, and hardware limitations, it may be time to seriously consider Linux instead. One of the biggest problems with Windows is how bloated it feels. Right after installing it, you already have background services, pre-installed apps, recommended content, and system features that many users never asked for. It feels like the operating system is always doing too much. Instead of focusing on being fast and efficient, Windows keeps piling on extras that slow it down and clutter the experience. Windows often behaves like it owns the machine more than the user does. It pushes Microsoft accounts, default apps, cloud features, and recommendations that can be difficult to avoid. Even basic settings can be buried under layers of menus. This is frustrating. A computer should serve the user, not constantly push them toward the company's ecosystem. Then there are the updates. Windows is famous for forcing updates at the worst possible time. You can be in the middle of work, gaming, studying, or editing a file, and suddenly the system wants to restart. Sometimes updates change features, break workflows, or introduce new annoyances without giving users much of a choice. That is not convenience. That is control taken away from the person using the computer. Windows 11 made things even worse by putting strict hardware requirements on many older but still perfectly usable PCs. A machine that works fine for browsing, writing, schoolwork, or light creative work is suddenly declared unsupported. That pushes people toward buying new hardware for no real reason. It is wasteful, expensive, and bad for users who simply want to keep using their current device. Windows also tends to feel heavier on weaker or older hardware. More background activity means more memory use, more disk use, and more overhead. That may not matter on a high-end gaming PC, but for regular users on mid-range or older systems, it can make a big difference. Linux often runs faster because it is lighter and less bloated, which is one reason many people switch. Another reason people are fed up is the growing amount of ads, suggestions, and promoted services inside Windows. It increasingly feels like the operating system is trying to market things to you instead of just being a tool. Not everyone wants a computer that keeps nudging them toward accounts, services, and online integration. Linux is usually much cleaner and far less intrusive. This is where Linux stands out. Linux gives users back control. You can choose a lightweight desktop, remove what you do not want, customize nearly everything, and run a system that matches your needs instead of someone else's business model. It can be simple for beginners or powerful for advanced users. Most importantly, it respects the user more. For many people, Linux is not just an alternative, it is the better option. It can revive older computers, reduce frustration, improve performance, and create a more focused experience without all the noise that Windows adds. You do not need to accept bloat just because it is popular. If you want a system that is faster, cleaner, and more under your control, Linux is absolutely worth considering. Windows may still dominate the market, but dominance is not the same as quality. If your computer feels more like a product than a tool, maybe it is time to move on. Linux offers a different path, one that gives you freedom, control, and a system that works for you instead of against you.